Hello students, welcome back to Turning Point classes. In today's session, I will discuss the first level questions related to the second chapter of second PU physics, that is electrostatic potential and capacitance. Let us start. The first question is the dimensions of electric potential are. Four options are given. To find the dimensions, just recall any of the basic equations available to us. First equation what we have in second PUC, that I recall. Note I have. So V is equal to W by Q. This formula is available. From first year, W is equal to force into displacement. So S stands for displacement, F is force. This is familiar to us. F stands for force. Q dimensions I discussed in the previous chapter. So Q is not a fundamental quantity, express Q in terms of current. Previous videos na watch madilla andre link available ide. Previous videos na watch madi. It will become easier for you to understand the remaining topics. Q I can write it as a current into time. So these two equations I recount. W is force. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. So mass m, acceleration ge dimensions so L t power minus 2. Distance, force dimensions these three. Distance dimension is L divided by charge Q, current into time. Current dimensions na I here it is taken as A. T, time dimensions capital. Simplify. M, L into L square. T bring it up, it becomes T power minus 1. T power minus 2, T power minus 1, it gives us T power minus 3. Here comes up, it gives us T power minus 1. This option node. So I found this option in C. C is the correct answer for this one. Let us move to the next question. In the next question, a hollow metal sphere of radius 10 cm is charged such that its potential on its surface is 10 volt. What is its potential at 5 cm from the center? This question we have to remember one simple sentence which is available in second PUC also. The potential on the surface of a spherical conductor, here it is hollow spherical conductor. So potential on the surface of hollow spherical conductor is equal to potential at any point inside the conductor. So this point if you remember, that will become very easy. So I write the sentence. So potential on the surface of a spherical conductor, on the surface of a hollow conductor. So you can take a spherical conductor itself, hollow spherical conductor. This is equal to potential at any point inside. At any point inside the conductor. So from this point, let me come back to our question. So we are asked what is the potential at 5 cm from the center. 5 cm is inside the conductor itself. So therefore the potential at 5 cm from its center is equal to potential on the surface. So on the surface the potential is given as 10 volt. So therefore the correct answer for this question is option B. 10 volt is the answer. Come back to the third question. Variation of electric potential V with the distance R in case of a charged hollow spherical conductor is represented by 4 graphs are given. Just recall the previous point which we discussed. So in a spherical conductor, hollow spherical conductor, the potential from the center to the surface remains constant. Now check point. How graphs are in first graph only, so if you go from center to radius, R stands for radius of the sphere we put here. So that is hollow spherical conductor. So R is the radius of conductor. Illivargu potential is constant. E graph allu constant agide. Illu constant agide. Illilla. Andre option D is wrong. Next point. This equation is available with us. V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R. So R greater than or equal to capital R. Even if you take radius of a spherical conductor, capital R comes. If you go beyond that also, this formula is valid. See, from this equation, what we observe, V potential decreases with the distance R. So as you keep increasing the distance, that means as you move away from the surface, potential keeps decreasing. This is the observation. So this graph is this graph. So as you move away from radius and above, as you increase the distance, potential keeps decreasing. So potential is increasing. That means this graph is wrong. This constant is wrong. So option A is the correct answer for this question. So A is the correct answer for this. The next question is a positive terminal of a 12 volt battery is connected to the ground. Then the negative terminal will be at 4 options are given. Just we have to understand 12 volt battery. So when you say 12 volt battery, potential difference is 12 volt. Our EMF is equal to 12 volt. 12 volt, the moment we say 12 volt, positive terminal of the battery is at 12 volt potential. Negative terminal of the battery is at 0 volt potential. The difference between these two is 12 volt minus 0 volt, that is equal to 12 volt. This is nothing but voltage, or we can call it as a potential difference. This is what we have in case of batteries. Now what is being done in this question, the positive terminal is connected to ground, nothing is done. Then what is the potential of negative terminal? The moment you connect a positive terminal to the ground, ground is always taken at a potential of 0 volt. So once it is connected to ground, this becomes 0 volt. What is this potential? Now you come back to this one. Potential difference is a difference in potentials. So difference in potentials. That is equal to potential of positive terminal minus potential of negative terminal. Here also it should be 12 volt. Suppose I take this one is minus 12 volt. 0 minus of minus 12. 0 higher potential. If I take lower potential negative terminal at minus 12, 0 minus of minus 12, that is equal to 12 volt. That means if you observe this one 12 volt 0 volt, negative terminal is 12 volt lower compared to a positive terminal. Same thing you have to apply here also. Once it is connected to ground, it will be at 0 volt potential. So the negative terminal must be 12 volt less compared to this positive terminal. So 0 volt, if you take this one as minus 12, 0 minus of minus 12, that becomes 12 volt. Even here also there is a potential difference of 12 volt. This is how we have to understand. Now the answer for this question is option D is answer for this. Now we will take the next problem, fifth one. In the region of an electric field, a charge is moved from point A to point B through 3 different paths as shown in the figure. The work done. So 3 paths are followed going from A to B. So one path is this, another one is straight path, one more is a more curved path. How these works W1, W2, W3 are related? You have to remember electric field, gravitational field, the work done is independent of the path followed. It depends only on the initial point and final point. In first year QC, you might have learnt conservative force. A force is said to be conservative if the work done does not depend on the path along which a body is moved. That is the definition what we have. Same thing even for electric field. So in case of frictional force, it is different. It depends on the path. It is a non-conservative force. So in frictional forces, the work done depends on the path along which you move a body. In frictional force is not an example for conservative force. So it is an example for non-conservative force. So in conservative forces, work done does not depend on the path. So example you might have learned in first year. So one is gravitational force, another one is electrostatic force also. So in the electric field, the work done does not depend on the path along which the particle is moved or charge particle is moved. So for all these 3 paths, the work done depends only on the initial point and final point. So therefore, Option B is valid for this question. Correct answer is B for this one. Now we'll take sixth question. In the sixth one, 4 into 10 power minus 4 J of work is done moving a charge of 5 millicoulomb. Milli, small m stands for milli, 10 power minus 3. From a point A to another point B. Potential difference between A and B. Recall the equation. Potential difference. Now, main equation starting equation V is equal to W by Q. Work ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ 4 into 10 power minus 4 substitute. Q ಬಂದು charge 5 milli ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Milli is nothing but 10 power minus 3 coulomb. ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು. 4 by 5 is nothing but 0.8 into 10 power minus 3. Bring it up, it becomes 10 power plus 3. Now we have 10 power minus 1. Only this much. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬರೀಬೋದು ಅಂದರೆ 0.08 ಬರೀಬೋದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅವೇ. 0.08 ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 0.8 ಇದೆ ಬಟ್ ಇದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. 800 ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯೋಣ ಇಂಟು 10 ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 3 ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ 800 ಇದು 80 ಇಂಟು 10 ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 2 ಬರೀಬೋದು ನೀವು ಬೇಕಂದರೆ. ಈ ಥರನೂ ಬರ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಿಟನ್ ಆಸ್ this is equal to 8 into 10 power minus 2 ಬರೀಬಹುದು. This answer is also not there. Make it as 80 into 10 power minus 3. This is equal to 80. 10 power minus 3 is nothing but millivolt. So this is the answer. ಈ ಥರ ಅದು ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಥರ. So therefore the answer for this question is option C. C is answer for this one. Coming back to the next question. A particle of charge Q and mass m travels through a potential difference of V volt. In vacuum, the final momentum of the particle is momentum is learnt in previous standards. Momentum is P is equal to mass into velocity, m into V. So V stands for velocity. Of course, the symbol given there, potential difference V. So this is given as capital V, potential difference V. I take a small v here. Momentum P is equal to m into V. V stands for the velocity. As the charged particle moves in electric field, it gains kinetic energy. What is the energy supplied by the field? The energy supplied by the field is Q into V. This is equal to energy gained by charged particle, that is nothing but half mv square kinetic energy. So here Q stands for charge, V stands for potential difference. So m is mass of particle, V is velocity. Just you rearrange these terms. So if you rearrange this, you get 2qv by m is equal to v square. So if you find square root, you get 2qv divided by m under root. So this is v square, this is nothing but velocity v. Now we'll p is equal to m into v. V I am going to replace it by 2qv divided by m under root. Just bring this m inside. 2qv, that becomes m square divided by m. Everything is under the square root. Cancel one m. This gives us 2qv. One more m is there. This much. This is under the root. So this one is available in option C. So C is the answer for this question. Let me take the next question. There is a uniform electric field E as shown in the figure. How many labeled points have the same electric potential at the fully shaded point? In the second chapter, we learnt equipotential surface. Equipotential surface is a surface on which every point has the same potential. All points have the same potential. That is what required. That is nothing but equipotential surface. If you put a perpendicular to electric field, perpendicular plane to electric field, that will give us equipotential surface. Now if I put one perpendicular here, this will give us equipotential surface. On this surface all points have identical potential. Now if you observe this equipotential surface, 3 circles. How many, here it is given how many labeled points? 1, 2, 3. 3 more points are there. where the potential remains the same. So all these 4 points have identical potential. One is labeled 1, unlabeled, not labeled 1 is 1, 2, 3. So the answer for this question is option C. C is answer for this one. So this is nothing but equipotential surface. So on equipotential surface, the work done is simply equal to 0. In moving charge from one point to another point, work done is 0. So any point you take on equipotential surface, the potential remains constant, or there is no potential difference between any two points on equipotential surface. That way also you can say it. Next I take the ninth question. In the ninth question, a charge is distributed over two concentric hollow spheres. So we are given two spheres. One is of smaller one, another one is bigger one. Smaller one has got a radius small r. Bigger one has got radius capital R. This is what given. A charge is distributed over two concentric hollow spheres of radius capital R and small r. This is what given. So here also there is some charge. Here also some charge is given. That is what it says. Now, what is the potential at the common center? So let me put O is the common center of these two spheres. So one sphere is smaller one, another is bigger one. These two have a common center, say at O. Find out what is the potential. Potential on the surface of a spherical conductor, familiar equation, V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. This equation is available to us. One more equation is available. Potential on the surface of a spherical conductor, V is equal to sigma by epsilon naught times radius. So that is V is equal to sigma by epsilon naught R. This equation I will be using it. How you get it? Just adjustment. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. Sigma is nothing but surface density of charge. Surface density of charge we learned. Charge divided by area. So area of spherical surface is 4 pi r square. If I rearrange the terms here, so V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. This is the equation what we have. Now I put surface density of charge. Sigma is equal to charge Q divided by surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. R Q is equal to sigma into 4 pi r square. Find the value of V. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R exists in the denominator. Q in the numerator is replaced by sigma into 4 pi r square. Cancellation. 4 pi cancels. 1 R is cancelled. Sigma R by epsilon naught. So this is the potential on the surface of a spherical conductor. Sigma by epsilon naught times R. That I have given there. Similarly, electric field in the previous chapter you might have learned E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. So electric field into distance, electric field into radius here. That will give us electric potential. So V is equal to sigma by epsilon naught into R. That I will be using in our discussion. Now I remove this part. Now if I take this question, so here itself I will arrange it. So V is equal to sigma by epsilon naught R. That is what we have. Now I want what is the electric potential at this point. Now if I take the biggest spherical conductor, potential V is equal to sigma by epsilon naught capital R. Capital R is the radius. If I find what is the potential on the surface of a smaller spherical conductor, that is sigma small r divided by epsilon naught. Now we learnt any point you take inside a spherical conductor, the potential is same as the potential on the surface. So that means whatever the potential you find on the surface, same potential is there even at O, because O is common point for both the spherical conductors. So any point you take inside the bigger conductor, the potential is the same. At O, the potential due to bigger conductor is V is equal to sigma r by epsilon naught. This O is also inside smaller conductor. Smaller conductor also contribute potential. The potential on the surface of conductor, smaller one is sigma r by epsilon naught. So both the smaller as well as bigger conductors contribute potential. Potential is a scalar quantity. ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ನ ಸಿಗ್ಮಾ ಆರ್ ಬೈ ಎಪ್ಸಿಲಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ಮಾ ಬೈ ಎಪ್ಸಿಲಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆರ್. ಸೊ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು bigger conductor plus potential due to smaller conductor. Since O is inside both the conductors, add the potentials of both the conductors which they contribute. This is the one. This if I simplify, sigma by epsilon naught, this is a common r plus r. This is a option answer what we get, sigma by epsilon naught capital R plus small r. So that is existing in option A. So A is answer for this question. So I end today's session. I'll come back to next class. Subscribe to Turning Point Classes. Share the video.